Welcome. My name is Caesar Plays, and as you could tell, another overview video of Daemons of the Shadow Realm. I have not forgotten about this show. I just got to do a way better, um, way better job at managing my time, because before I knew it, it was already just to give a little introduction of what's going on and why I'm doing these three episodes all at once. Just before I knew it, like a week had gone by, and I'm like, all right, I'll just review episode 6 and 7 together. And before I knew it, I'm like, I see like episode 8's already out. And I'm like, wait, how much time has gone by? Just because work's been a little bit busy and crazy, but nonetheless, I have been wanting to talk about these shows, the show, and every episode has been so far everything very very interesting from episode 6 all the way to episode 8. But that was the introduction. Let's get into this because it was actually very interesting, how these all went together. And watching episode 8 just to refresh myself, I also rewatched episode 6 and 8, 6 and 7 again, just to make sure that my opinions were still the same, from those 2 weeks ago. So without further ado, episode 6, basically, I have to get this out the way. Even though it didn't make any much difference, like I have to talk about like the arrow, just because I did finish the last video talking about how I thought that maybe he was gonna find a special bow or something like that. But yeah, the arrow actually didn't end up not making too much of a difference in the overall progression over these past 6 episodes. It was just about this past 3 episodes. Sorry, it just it all it would did was basically just establish that Euro needed to practice and get a hang of like the new bow or whatever. But so that just getting that out the way, so you guys can't say that I just left that question unresolved after the last episode. Um, Yuru and Asa end up getting devoured by the yin yang daemons, which to me had like a really cool design. Then they somehow merge together, and they get sent to this other world where Yuru is left with, I think, left, I forgot, and Asa with right. That could be either or I forgot which ones. But we get the introduction to explain a little bit of explanation of Asa's break ability, which is effing broken and in this world, technically speaking. And I'm sure there's going to be limits. I'm sure there's going to be things that can and cannot do with it, and probably there's going to be strategies around it, especially since knowing how all these people know about like what the breakability is. And I'll go into that further as we talk about the other episodes. But there's got to be a work around the ability, I'm assuming. But yeah, no, the ability at the moment, as it stands, is broken as hell. So basically Asa uses her ability to cut the contract between her and Daemons, between the Daemons and, sorry, decides her ability to break the contract between the Daemon and the person who's using it, uh, which is again problematic for whoever is going against her. And if she takes the steps required to fulfill that ability. On the other hand, in the background, you get shots of Gabby just dealing with the other people that are attacking the village, the group. And Gabby is just being Gabby, very confident, and good reasons to her. Damon just is also very, very powerful. I feel like this family has a lot of really powerful Damons. Um, at the after Asa ends up breaking the contract between the Damon and her, whatchamacallit, and the person who contracted it, he ended up asking to spit you out. She reaffirms that the Daemon is now technically working for her and that they're all good. And they come to the conclusion that they have to hunt down all these Daemon users and question. I mean, they gotta hunt them down and question them as to interrogate them, like who's behind all this and why are they being attacked. There's this interesting little gag too where there again, the whole idea is we're going to find them, we're going to interrogate them, and we're going to find out who's behind all this, right? And there's a little gag where I forgot his name. Like, I gotta look this one up though, because out of all, yeah, Akio, the bald dude, like he wasn't part of the conversation, I guess. So as they're being attacked, Akio is somewhere else out there just trying to defend the village, and he ends up killing one of them. um, so by the time that the whole setup is done, and I love how they go into like Yuru's hunting background and how he's like, "All right, I'm the hunter now," and you get some really cool shots, and you get the cool shots of everybody just like doing their thing. Like, you got the Damon Makoto like just throwing grenades out there randomly. It was Gabriel just like demolishing too. Like it was good. It was fun. It was a nice little showcasing of powers and Damons. But yeah, I kill. I guess at the end they finish doing their job. They round everyone up, and as they're interrogating one of the guys whose name I forgot already, like they put like the turtle Damon on him, and like this I believe is an old torture method as well, like a real life torture method. What you actually, instead of like the Damon, you would actually put huge like stones, heavy stones, on the people's leg and basically break their legs in a way. The equivalent of that, they start doing that, and it's super interesting to see that Haruo, the blonde dude, who I really like with the rabbit bun, yeah. It's cool to see that aside from like the offensive defensive Daemons that he has, that there's like another thing he could use them for, and I found that super cool. Uh, as they're interrogating this guy, they find out that, oh yeah, like we're working. The only person that knows something about the one guy that has anything to do with this, he's over there, and we find out that apparently there's the one guy that Akio killed. So yeah, I like that. Um, it's like this lighthearted kind of dark joke thrown in between like this very serious moment, which also worked. Um, I loved how they go into the relationship between Demons and humans as well. I really, really appreciate that, like that this clan, the Higurashi clan, that they're talking at the sorry, yeah, Higurashi, right? Uh, Kagemori clan, sorry, these names. The Kagemori clan. I love how the Kagemori clan shows genuine care for the Daemons and the contracts, and they're respectful towards all these Daemons. And they treat them like pets, but like pets that you can actually converse with, almost with. Well, I guess some people can converse with their pets. Not get into that. I'm not gonna get into that whole conversation. Um, sorry. You get the explanation also that these assassins were just forced to do a quick contract and barely cared about their Daemons, and that just pisses off Gabby completely for good reasons too. I love how they're throwing this kind of like lore out there of like, no, we gotta treat each other with respect and love, and that's how you build like a bigger bond. I think that's very important to just throw out there, even though it was self-explanatory. I think it was very important just to throw out there because you want to solidify why Yoru's connection to left and right is going to be so important in the future as well. I think it's like a little planting the seeds towards possibly uh, something that could be important in the future. But then again, this show has thrown a couple swear balls for me, and I've been just horrible at guessing what the next couple of events are going to be. So I could be wrong. I will say though too that Aza's Daemons, whose names I already forgot, the Yin and Yang ones that she contracted, um, they end up splitting. The big the when they merged together, they became this huge Daemon, and she asks them like, "Hey, can you just become like small compatible size?" And they become these little Yin Yang like floating Daemons. I just love the design on them. I always had a thing for yin yang concepts as well, so that was an easy sell for me. And that's kind of, and the episode 6 kind of ends with them showcasing a character. I believe I looked it up. Like his name is Ivan. Um, in the backgrounds, which I'm assuming has something to do with this whole mess. But I'm not gonna make too many assumptions on that, because we don't get too much about him explained either. So I'm just gonna accept that. All right, there's another person in the background somewhere doing something. Now, episode 7 goes into Yuru's first kill as a kid, where he basically had an encounter with an assassin that wanted to kill him, and he had to defend himself. Not just that, but I think the concept was the whole idea behind that showcasing was the whole, hey, do you remember how he looked at you? Do you remember that feeling that you got of him? That's the intent to kill. Never forget that. So when you see or feel that from someone, beware. That's what this guy that's with him is saying. So you also get a moment where you have Yuru's interaction with the real Asa when she was a kid. And it is a moment that I took for granted at first, because it looks like a very normal moment where she's like with him and she feels his back a little bit. And it comes into play in the next episode, which I think it was really, really nice foreshadowing. Um, I actually thought about it again after I finished rewatching all 3 episodes again, and I didn't care. The second time I watched episode 7, I didn't even care about that little sequence either until they do the flashback on episode 8 about it. So it's a nice little foreshadowing. Uh, so we also, in this episode, we really start off with, after that, with the Asa's backstory, which she goes into talking about how the Higashi village basically sent assassins to kill her. Um, we get the explanation how the whole idea behind the twins being born together, that after X amount of years that are going to bring chaos or rule the world or rule all the Daemons. And we get that whole miniature explanation, but we also see what happens, what are the requirements for them to obtain those powers. And one of them is that they have to die. And when Asa gets killed by Higashi village assassins, which she claims, she gets sent to this other abstract world where she encounters a daemon that offers her either like life or death, but either you jump out this skeleton bridge and you die and you accept death, or you, I think the phrasing was, you accept me, or you follow you devote yourself to me. So, and by devoting yourself to that daemon, then she was going to get the break ability and live. And it's important to note also that she didn't just choose to live because she wanted to live and because she wanted the power of break. She wanted to live because she started thinking of, like, what is my brother going through? Like, was he also dealing with assassins? No, I have to go back and help him. So the primary reason for her wanting to live and to get back on Earth was to protect her, to protect Yuru. So it's just a nice character showcasing again. I love that we don't see the actual process of the kidnapping. I feel like I didn't read the manga, so I don't know if it was in there or not. But I love that we just skip past it and we just get straight to the fact that, all right, she got assassinated and she's here right now. But you get the aftermath, because it's also important. It also contrasts with Yuru's first kill, Asa's first kill as well. At least, well, I'm assuming that's her first kill as well. And then we get the introduction to new characters, basically, after after, sorry, let me just regain my thoughts. After after they interrogated everybody, and they're trying to they're trying to figure things out as to what's going on, what they should be doing next. We get introduced to Hagure, which we get no explanation of in episode 7 yet. And the return of Asuma, the weirdly sneaky, weird guy that we also get more explanation about in the next episode. The next sequence is something very, very interesting to me, and that is that Dara finally catches up to where Yuru is, and he's at the door, and I love the whole interaction between Yuru and Higashi clan. Sorry, not Higashi, damn, the Kagemori clan. I love how casual it is, because when we first got introduced to them in episode 1 or 2, it really felt like it was going to be like, all right, these are the villains, this is the protagonist, but there was more to it. And I love how there's, even though like we kind of accepted them, or at least I've kind of accepted them, there's still like a little bit of tension going on, because there's more to it, and I'll go into that when we talk about episode 8. But Dara arrives. Yuru speaks to the clan about, like, yeah, just let him in. He's harmless. He's not gonna try anything. And by pure coincidence, the head of the Kagemori clan, Gonzo, he arrives as well. Now, him and Dara take a car together all the way to the entrance, and I was like, oh, so we're just good now? But then, no, Yuru verifies that you can tell that there was a hard energy between Gonzo and Dara, and them ready to kill each other. So I'm glad that, yeah, we're just playing nice, but instead I really just I'm waiting for the moment that you try something. uh uh we switch over. Let me switch over now to episode 8, because I don't want to make this video too long. um but there's 3 episodes I gotta talk about, man. Sorry. Let's talk about this new character that we got introduced to in episode 7, Hagure. We get a little bit more explanation about him and his role. Something I forgot to talk about episode 7 was that Hagure apparently had a reason why he didn't hear any noise, and that's why we weren't introduced to him in the battle of episode 6. Apparently, I forgot the reason why, but his reason was justified. Asuma's not so much. It felt really sketchy, very off. So he's, to this moment, still being very, very sketchy and weird, and I'm gonna go more into that as we talk about this episode. But Hagure's Daemons, and I just spoke in this video how much I love the contrast between black and white characters, and by that I mean like literal colored black and white characters, not race. Color contrast. That color contrast is, to me, interesting, the yin yang aspect. And this guy, Hagure, is a mangaka with daemons that revolve around ink, erasing and recreating something like in the physical world, and it's just crazy. That's on some Yosuke shit. There goes my monetization for this video. uh, that's on some Yosuke-ish, like, and it's like, it's not like he's undoing the damage of the house. He can just recreate the house on how he sees it. Now, I don't know, and I don't think it got explained, if this applies to living beings as well. Will he be able to, like, if somebody breaks an arm, can he use like the whiteout and ink to redraw it? He's a mangaka. His power revolves around recreation, so imagination is very important for him to know how these things work, because he doesn't just redo what was before that. He has to know what it looked like, so he could potentially even just change something up. And it does, I think Dara pointed out, it is showcased as monochrome colored, but he claims, Hagure claims, that eventually, like, it'll adapt to the color that it was before that, which is, again, very, very interesting. I love that power so much. We get some more lore building in this episode, which, again, I also feel that it is the slow part of the season. It's similar to like another episode early on in the season that I felt was a little bit slower. However, the biggest difference for me is that I feel like we get a lot of lore explained here, and some people don't like that. Some people want the action, fighting, and cool Daemons stuff. But me, I love world building. I love hearing more lore and like, all right, putting two and two together. Or like, this is how this works. All right, so this means this and this means that, and basically Gonzo explains how basically Gonzo invites everybody for breakfast, and you see a bunch of little Daemons helping to set up the breakfast spot, which is I found really cute and very cool, without any explanation of who or what they do or who they belong to. And I'm not sure if it's important or not either. We're just world building. We're just showcasing that, hey, these Daemons are out there and they exist. So um I will say that I love not just Asa's reaction to your reading, but Gabby's reaction to Asa's reaction to your reading. Because if you look, and it's not hard to tell, but if you look the first time like Asa's reaction pops up, Gabby's like looking at it, giving her a little bit of a side eye. I'm like, fuck. And the second time you see like little sweat marks, as in like it's getting more intense. And I love that little detail. But at the same time, we get once more the confirmation that Asa has and holds a grudge against the Higashi clan for their assassination attempts at her. And there's more lore that gets spoken about. I'm not going to go into it too much because I don't want to make this video super, super long. But there's more stuff that she brings up about it and why specifically bothers her about the assassination attempts aside from getting her killed. But you can tell that she's portraying this anger and this frustration to Dara, who has done nothing wrong so far. And we also get the explanation that there are clan extremists, sorry. And that's interesting to point out because now we it's not just good and bad. Like your clan is justified, my clan is justified, and it's also not just like, all right, there's good to our clans, but also bad, and saying there's good to your clans and there's bad to your clans too. It's not a gray area either in both clans. Now there's, aside from the main two clans that we have, there's branches, and those are the round apples, and those are the people that we probably wanna fight against, which makes it easier for us to root for the people that we currently like, because it would have been like very disappointing for me if all of a sudden, like, oh, but somehow we got like the reveal that the Kagemori clan was actually evil and they were just playing nice the whole time. It would have been very disappointing if we had to go all of a sudden against these people that I ended up liking. So putting those extremist branches out gives us the best of both worlds, because now we're allowed to like these people, these characters. I will also say that this episode also plants the seed to what I already said, that as Asuma felt a little weird, a little off, because it already plants the seeds to the fact that Gonzo's perspective on the twins and what they can bring to Earth is very interesting. He wants to basically get rid of the idea of these twins that can't hold all this power. He wants to make an end to it. Meanwhile, Asuma in the breakfast meal interrupts and says, I feel like, no, I disagree. I feel like you should be able to control. They've been given powers by the gods. They should be able to control them and use them for good, for what they've been given to them for. So it already establishes conflict and suspicion, even though we already kind of felt, at least I already felt, that suspicion from Asuma. Yuru tries to get a hero moment where he tells everybody on the table, like, hey, this is for all of you guys to hear. I'm sure there's spies here anyway. And Dara, go tell everybody in the Higashi clan too, because I'm sure they're going to find out anyway. But anybody has beef, come to me. Like, I'll take care of them. Like, I don't care. They can know where I am and all that. Like he's trying to get his big show, big bro moment, and Asa's reaction actually contradicts his speech and calls him an idiot. And I love how you have this almost build up of like this hero moment, and then Asa shuts him down and tells him like you do not have the right to act like that when you don't know what it's like to have assassination attempts constantly behind you, because that's what she's been experiencing all these years. But then and then it's a pullback again where Gabby tells Asa, your brother's just trying to take half the burden off you, because now they're not gonna be focused just on you. Now they can focus half on him, so you don't have to worry about it all the time. And it's beautiful, I want to say, too, the ideology behind Yuru and his perspective of how he loves his sister. He he's upset hearing how all these things about his parents gone missing, that his sister's constantly trying to get assassinated. um that his sister's almost always getting assassinated, not trying to get assassinated. um and I love this little detail that he picked up, and that is like, my sister's always apologizing here. What are you guys doing to make her feel like she has to apologize for everything? I love that detail. Again, it's just more like I didn't pick up on it, and most likely it's probably right. I'll have to rewatch all the episodes again, but and I want to pay attention. Actually, now I want to pay attention to how much she apologizes, because if that's the case, then yeah, it's like a beautiful little detail that only somebody, a brother or a sister or a family member or a close friend, would pick up on, like little habits, little traits, and him just being upset as to, yo, she shouldn't have to feel this way. Uh, Gonzo then offers Yuru a place at their clan and says, hey, why don't you just come join us? And at some point, I was like, all right, is that I figured he wasn't gonna take it, but at the same time, I was like, what if he did accept the spot just to be around Asa and learn more? But at the same time, it came into my head while this moment was happening, like, don't do it. Like, what about all these people like that they kind of killed that you kind of grew up with? Because the whole time, also, Ganso is and the Kagemori clan is shit talking the Higashi clan and saying like, oh, their morals are outdated and their lifestyle is outdated, and you're just like, I had fun here. I grew up there. Like, I love these people. And he even brings it up like, at the end of the day, I'll forgive for some of the stuff that's happened, but I cannot forgive the fact that you guys killed a lot of the people, which they did. A lot of the people that I grew up with, and is innocent people probably too. So they're allowed to peacefully leave Dara, Yuru, left and right. And Asa, this is a moment where I just killed me actually, where Asa shows Yuru a picture of their parents just so that he knows what they look like, or tries to remember how they look like. And Yuru is just flabbergasted about seeing a picture inside a phone, the concept behind it, because he's never experienced it. And I love how left and right are also amazed as well, like, oh wow, look at that! Like they're almost like scared and shook. And it's just funny to me because I actually had something happen to me similar, where I have two screens, two monitors right here, left and right, my left and right. And I remember showing a family member one time who's not familiar with the concept of dual monitors, I guess. He was over here, and I was showing him something on my computer, and then I moved it from one screen to another, and he just got scared for a moment. It just that just hit home for me, the reaction. and and then after that, Yuru leaves with Dara left and right, and before he fully leaves, Asa is just goes over, gives him a hug, and Asa does this thing where she just taps him on the back again, one time, and not again, like one time, And at first, when Yoru goes to on his knees on the floor, I thought that she did something. Like, all right, is there a twist? What's going on? Did she? But no, it's actually the foreshadowing that I was talking about earlier in episode 7. Uh, it is nice that that's what made Yuru realize, no, this is my real sister, because I'm never gonna forget that touch. It's important. That's why it's a flashback. That's why it's in his memory, and that's why it's being showcased. Um, and it was to take away any doubt from the past 8 episodes that Asa is not the real Asa, that he's not being played. Because that would have been also cheap, in my opinion, if we found out like, oh, she was just a clone, or she was just like a villain's Daemon or something like that. So it is nice to just get that completely out the way. This is a real Asa. This is a real. This is Yuru. This is where they are. Some of the chess pieces have been put in place, and we're slowly building up to like this, what the story is going to continue being. I find that very, very, very nice. The way it was handled, very touching as well. And I'm also glad that we finally got that resolved. Now, I don't know where the story is going to go. Again, I have not read the manga. I'm very curious because this was an arc, a little mini 3-episode arc, I guess, 4-episode mini arc. The Kagemori clan house mansion, and I loved it so far. I'm very curious as to where this is gonna go, because even though I don't want to admit it, we have been shown quite a couple Daemons, and it's not like they're slowly building up to like, oh, villain of the week kind of thing. Like, we've been shown quite a chunk of Daemons, and I'm curious as to what else is going to happen. I don't know how many episodes this season is going to hold. I'm not sure. For all I know, this could be the last one, which I doubt. But I do want to see more of it. Without further ado, as you could tell, like, I've had a lot of fun with these episodes so far. I'm excited for next week to see what's going to happen next. This show has been living up to my expectations so far. It wasn't the most mind-blowing thing ever, but it's been really, really fun, and I feel like it definitely gives me another reason to watch anime on a weekly basis, which I haven't made the time for all too much. I have a couple other videos planned that I hope to bring out soon, but in the meantime, please hit the like on this video, subscribe. I would really, really appreciate that a whole lot. Sorry for the long ass videos. I will try to review these episodes on a weekly basis from now on, to maybe keep them to like a 10-minute span. I just needed to get these out right now, because it wouldn't have made sense to just release episode 6 review and then episode 7 next week. So whatever. But my name is Caesar Plays. Leave down in the comments down below what you thought of these episodes, what your favorite parts of the episodes have been, what your favorite Daemons are, because I'm always curious to read any comments and then discussions around these shows. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time for the next video and the next episode. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful rest of your week, whatever it is, or a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you guys around. Bye.